Good morning, I'm Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you. Going to spend some time talking to you about you and your business. Looking forward. We got a great lineup as usual. And usually we have on, when we ever have on, our friend Paul Carroll, regular contributor on The Price of Business with Efficient Wealth Management. That's efficientwealthmanagement.com. He usually brings on a great guest who brings us a different perspective and more insight of what's happening out there in the just north of Houston in the Woodlands, which is having an economic Shangri-La, to say the least. But today we're going to just talk directly with Paul and spend some time with him talking about something that all of you are noticing. Probably most of you are delighted about. You know, I filled up my tank for less than $40 recently, and I mean, that sucker was empty. But I also had a little bit of trepidation as like, how good could this be for the larger economy? And so Paul Carroll, who's a financial wealth expert and a regular contributor on here, on one of our authorities on business issues, he's going to talk a little bit about that. Welcome, Paul.
Good morning, Kevin. How are you?
Doing great, thanks. And real quickly, before you get into our topic, kind of give us the elevator speech on efficient wealth management.
Absolutely. I'll keep it brief. Efficient Wealth Management is a boutique wealth management firm based here in the Woodlands, Texas. And we've adopted a consultative approach where we work with a team of experts to help our unique clients not only protect their wealth, but mitigate their taxes, take care of their heirs, protect their assets from being unjustly taken, and maximize the impact of charitable planning if that's important for them.
Yeah, very good. And let's talk a little bit about our topic today on what's going on with gas prices.
Great. I get this question every single day now. What's going on with gas prices? And it's a very interesting topic. We've got essentially Brent today is at $78 and change. West Texas Intermediate is $75 a barrel. In English, that means the price of oil has dropped 27% the last 12 months. And it's very relevant, not only for those consumers that are buying gas and enjoying these prices, but also for the economy, because the economy of Houston and also the Woodlands is deeply embedded in the energy industry.
Yeah, and I was reading some articles about there being a little bit of trepidation about that it might affect some growth, some development here in Houston. Have you seen some of that?
Absolutely. I think what we're getting at this point is in the boardrooms of a lot of companies, especially energy upstream and midstream companies, we're getting the conversation of, okay, the party's over, it's time to tighten our belt. What are we going to do next? And this, of course, is affecting decision-making. In the very short term, it's probably causing decisions to be stalled. If, as Goldman Sachs suggests, these prices are going to be the norm for the next 12 to 18 months, then you are going to see a little bit of a slowdown in business activity at least. And depending on how much that slowdown is, it may not all be a bad thing.
Yeah, it might be kind of the thing. You know, I've always found one of the reasons why Texas is great and why Houston is great is that historically it's been big on steadfast growth rather than hyper growth. You know, and you look at places like California and Florida, particularly in the real estate fronts, where they go crazy. It becomes Vegas out there. And, man, I tell you, the hangover can become huge. I'm a big fan of steadfast growth. Talk about that.
I couldn't agree more. In fact, what we're seeing already is a bit of a bubble in the Woodlands area and commercial real estate, and to a lesser extent in home values. Yeah, nobody likes to see the party end, but if the party ends early, then the hangover's a lot less bad. It's a lot less painful and miserable. So depending on how bad this is, it may not be that bad at all. I know we're looking for a better office, a bigger office, a nicer location. And we look at the prices out there, and I'm not joking, Kevin. They're in line with New York City and San Francisco. It is really bad if you're trying to add space, Class A office space in the Woodlands.
Yeah, no question about it. No question about it. What do you see in terms of some decision making that we might see? Is this going to right now? In fact, I've been seeing some interesting articles, and I've been talking about on the show that if it weren't for Texas, we'd still be in the recession. We would have never have left a recession. And so I could see a macro national impact by what's happening with these gas prices. Talk a little about that.
You know, this is an interesting issue because we need to think of this as a scale. You know, we have one weight on one side and one on the other, and which is going to have the greater impact. On one side of the scales is the the tailwind that Texas has provided the national economy. But on the other side, when oil prices drop like they are right now, that's the effect of a very substantial tax break. And oil is not exactly a luxury good. It's more of an essential item for both businesses and homes. It's very difficult to predict which will have the greater impact on the on the economy. Will it be the pain or reduced benefit to Texas, or will it be the impact of the tax cut to the economy?
Yeah. A question I had for you, Paul, is earlier this week, the Congress went ahead and voted against the Keystone Pipeline. There's a whole lot of positive about that, but wouldn't that have the potential of even further lowering gas prices long-term wise?
That's a great question, and I'm not sure that it will. It may in the short term within the United States. I don't think it's healthy to limit exports. Domestic populist politicians would love to stop exports because it brings down local prices, but it distorts the global economy, and it results in less revenue coming to the United States from those exports. But the truth of Keystone is the vast majority of the energy that was going to pass through that pipeline is Canadian energy. So it's the Canadians who are, without doubt, the most concerned about that issue.
Yeah, but at the same time, all that construction would be done by the U.S. We still import a huge amount of energy. I'd rather import it from our friends up north than I would the terrorists in the Middle East. And so there is nothing but upside.
It's a direction I'd like to talk about if we have time, and that is, what is the geopolitical impact? And from that point of view, this actually could be a very good thing. There's a wonderful article in The Economist talking about the break-even oil price of some of these not-so-friendly countries, and they're under a lot of pain right now. Venezuela, $120 a barrel.
Yeah.
We look at Russia, $100 a barrel. Some of these countries that are not our friends are in significant pain, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul Carroll, great as always. Always enjoy having you on. EfficientWealthManagement.com. EfficientWealthManagement.com. Great topic. This topic, by the way, is going to be featured over at USDailyReview.com. We're going to do a special article on it over there. And thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Kevin.
When we come back, much more for you. We want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at USDailyReview.com, and this is The Price of Business.
It's been getting so hard to live.